Hello, you're watching Sports Federation TV. I'm Lenyukta Chetty, and once again, I'll be your host. If this is the first time you're tuning in, then you should know that this is the show that showcases all the sports in the Western Cape and at large South Africa. Today, we've got three amazing sports joining us. Amazing and completely different. One you can play inside, one you can play outside, well, traditionally, and one is a combination of flight, speed, and pigeons. So, sit back and relax while we introduce our first guest. And with this sport, with over 250 million players from over 200 countries worldwide, it is undoubtedly the world's most popular sport. So without further ado, from the South African Football Association, Mr. Wayne Whites. Hello, Mr. Whites, how are you?
Thanks very much, and thanks for having us. And I represent probably the biggest member of Safa, which is Safa Cape Town, and we have a registered membership of over 120,000 footballers.
So, talking about Cape Town, we're speaking Cape Town Metropole today.
That's correct.
How exactly is that structured?
Look, we're structured, from a governance perspective, in a nutshell, it's 37 members, ranging from various LFAs. It's LFAs, which is local football associations, that constitute. So a local football association is made up of a composite of a number of football clubs, who then form an LFA, and that LFA becomes a member of Safa as an organizing structure in that community to organize football for that specific community, whether it's Pontyville, Hanover Park, Heideveld, Cape Town Tygerberg, or Kensington, Guguletu, Khayelitsha, Nyanga. That is our membership. Our membership stretch starting from Simonstown all the way to the Strand.
So with the community league being the lowest structure, how are you sourcing athletes or players for your sport?
Look, I think it happens at the local level. Clubs are made up of juniors and seniors that join the club. They then participate on a weekly basis in leagues, and we're now at the exciting time in Safa, where we've done in terms of administratively, done the planning, got ourselves ready for 2017. And most of our leagues is to start. We had a number of tournaments where it was endorsed by Safa Cape Town, hosted by either clubs or our local football associations traditionally at the start of the brand new season. So we're in an exciting time. Within 2 weeks, some of the members started Saturday past, some members anticipate to start, and some is starting later. But we're also facing a number of challenges. As we all know, in Cape Town, we are having this problem of drought, water, and because our sport is played outdoors, we are massively affected by it, and therefore we are in consistent engagement with the city of Cape Town to ensure that we will be able to deliver to our members for them to play, for the young boys and girls in the under 8s, to the seniors or the young older men still participating in the sport, over 40 or over 45, the seniors. So it's really a big operation, but the operation is done at a very local level, and all that we do at a Safa Cape Town level is to hold it together and make sure that there's rules, there's regulations, and those things are applied, and that we manage that.
I mean, that's a pretty intense logistical issue to have, water, and I suppose you're referring to the effect that would have on the turf or the grounds in which your players play.
Yeah.
So being probably the most popular sport in the Western Cape as well, you probably have a very strong team of administrators to get you through these times.
Look, we recently completed our AGM, and where Safa, again, we could declare in terms of from our governance, from our financial accountability, that we could account to our members. And we are fortunate that from an organizational perspective, our president is Advocate Norman Ardenser, We are ably led by two vice presidents, Bennett Bailey and Sia Punani. And then our secretary, which is Ms. Nomondi Lakani, myself being the treasurer, to look after the assets and the finance of the organization. And then also from an operational perspective, we also have Alton Lottery that looks after the real office, the operations, and we have 6 staff members that are employed. And we are based at Atlant Stadium in a partnership with the City of Cape Town. And that is where we run our operations from, and to make sure that we can effectively give a service to our members, the 37 members, and the football players, and the supporters, and our sponsors, a value for what the being involved as a partner.
You mentioned that, your portfolio is treasury within your organization. So how does, for the benefit of the administrators in the other sports that are watching, how does soccer get it right with the sponsorships?
I think, look, it's about the game of football as you introduced it. It's a world, it's a phenomenal. It is something which everybody just gravitate towards, and it is if you look at Cape Town in the world, if we look at stats, it's the poor that play football because it's so easy. It only requires a ball, and whether there's 50 or 60 people together, they could play this game. And in that way, Safa, we had our fair share of problems, challenges that we faced. We lost some confidence to investors, and particularly Safa Cape Town as well. And we needed to get certain things right. And we're thankful from a national perspective because of our president, Dr. Jordan, and he's leading ably with his team, that they were groundbreaking in cementing and the organization in a solid sense from a financial perspective that made us as well to be able to operate, and for me, confidently to work with the rest of my executive to ensure that we could really bring some confidence into our sponsors and funders, because many times the problem with funding is that we're all looking for the money, and we forget that sometimes it's not just about the money, but it's about the relationship. And for us in Safa Cape Town, what we try and anticipate, and what I always do, is that we strike a relationship and we work through a relationship together. And the natural thing is that it increases the product what we do. And we have got one major competition that is probably as big as the FA Cup, if we call it, which is the Coke Cup, which starts in the first week of May. And within that competition alone, we have a total clubs, last year only, of 808 clubs affiliated to Safa Cape Town, which there's members of 98,000 that was officially registered last year.
Women and their development. There's been a lot of things in the media recently about the future looking so bright for Banyana, but the national women's team. In Western Cape, do we have those kind of exciting prospects for the women playing here as well?
Yeah, look, I think this year is the year that Safa Cape Town, we really declared that this year is our year of our main focus in 2 areas, which is women and which is the youth. And the main purpose was, it is also an exciting thing with regards to our Vision 2022 as Safa as a whole, is that also from a FIFA perspective, that those are key focus areas, and we realigned ourselves with regards to that to make it a focus area. And we have exciting competitions that existed, and all that we need now is to make sure that women in particular are just not on the playing field and girls are introduced, but that we break through and introduce them to all spheres of the administration, into the coaching, apart from the playing, but that mothers are encouraged to bring their daughters, and that their daughters and the mothers are encouraged to get involved administratively in the coaching, and also from a professional perspective. If they either in the sports science or in the biokinetics and they want to play an effective role, is that we encourage and we welcome them to come forward and provide the services.
Well, that's so encouraging to hear. I mean, being a woman and knowing how important it is to get women involved in sports, for for countless reasons. That's really encouraging to hear. Last week, we were fortunate enough to have some of your colleagues from football here as well, and they came to share with us the news regarding the Bay Hill tournament. What's happening with that now?
Look, the Bay Hill tournament, what is happening now is that because of this whole thing with the drought in the metropole, the matter of the venue became a real issue. Last night, it can be confirmed that the tournament will start on Wednesday. It has the endorsement and the backing of Safa Cape Town. And the tournament will be played back where it was traditionally played in Balha. And therefore, we all excited about it because the teams, I've just heard this morning, Mamelodi Sundowns, the youth team, who was victorious and just returned recently from Amsterdam, that they will be also joining the Metropolitan Cup and will be participating in the Bay Hill tournament starting on Wednesday.
Oh, I'm sure all the teams are quite excited to put their skills against such a prominent team as well.
Look, it's one of the oldest youth competitions, and as from Safa Cape Town, we really want to showcase, because that's where the bulk of the exciting players, to Nasif Morris, Benny McCarthy, Stephen Pienaar, and many others, that is where they really have played, and that's where people started to, as scouts and bigger teams, started to see the value and the kind of talented players. And I think as Safa Cape Town, what we are saying is just not about the Bay Hill. In a youth perspective, we have exciting opportunities, which will later in the year, one of our programs that we have with the Cape Town City FC, an exciting tournament for boys under 16, 100 clubs being pitted together, and they're playing. And in this competition, it's twofold. It's really showcasing the talent that exists within the region as Safa Cape Town, but that the opportunity exists that we could partner with one of the professional teams for hoping for the boys to be scouted there because of their ability, and then for them to be taken up into their academy and then to be harnessed further and developed further.
With the environmental constraints that the Western Cape is suffering at the moment, would people then look to indoor facilities to maybe get the ball, so to speak, moving?
Look, those are options at the present moment as we speak. We are scheduled to meet with the City of Cape Town tomorrow, the MACO members, because as Safa Cape Town, we are speaking for all our members. I come from particular a LFA in Pontyville, and I can say we are about to start the 22nd of April, and we are seriously need to consider various options like to play partially certain of our leagues in a particular way, either indoor or outdoors. Certain LFAs already took that decision, like Mitchell's Plain. They've started with their junior football Saturday pass, and the seniors will only start hoping that there's rain in June. So those are kind of initiatives that on the ground we have taken, but we are asking authorities to beg with us and to support us with regards to the initiatives, so that we are not caught where officials have neglected their duties with regards to just maintenance. These are only maintenance issues. It's not about the drought and the water. That's one aspect that we are confronted with, but it's purely just maintenance matters that has been left behind for years, and now it came to the fore with the drought, and now it is the politicians that needs to assist communities, because football has got the biggest footprint in terms of in Cape Town and in the Western Cape, as I say, and I boast to say that our membership is bigger than most federations and most organizations as such as well.
For the benefit of these learners at home and maybe even their parents, what kind of support structures do we have at the schools in terms of Safa's involvement? Obviously
aware there was this resolution taken, and there was a stuff, and people still confronting that there's a court case pending. The bottom line is Safa is the custodians of football in this country, inclusive of school sport. And therefore, as Safa Cape Town, we have been entrusted with that mandate to ensure that we can organize football within schools. And we just, last year, the Ch263 was one competition that we got involved, and we were very successful in hosting the competition as the organizers on behalf of Safa National. And in that competition at Safa Cape Town, we all know the wonderful, talented player playing for Ajax, Magaman, that is playing for Ajax Cape Town as a midfielder. He's in the under-20 national soccer team. And last year, he played in the Ch263 for his school from Bonteheuwel for Moderdam High. And based on that, Ajax, he was there in the academy. He got signed in the same week when they qualified as a school for the finals, and he could not represent his school in the provincial finals because of his commitment, professional commitment from that point onwards. So we as Safa are quite excited because we will be going and taking football where football has never been.
To boldly go where no one's gone before.
Yeah. Our soccer, our school league for this year, we anticipate to start. We've scheduled for the first week in May. At Safa Cape Town, our school's league will start. Not a sort of competition, but the actual league on a weekly basis, every Wednesday, that schools will play and participate against each other. As most of us know, back in our own days, that's what we enjoyed.
Well, speaking about school, and well, that will obviously invoke memories of childhood. In your childhood, did you drink bashoes?
Obviously, that bashoes is a synonymous on the Cape Flats. Ask any person, it's a no-brainer because they'll speak about just the deliveries and how they were waiting. And on a Sunday, you go and visit the aunties, and the first thing that comes out, what color, what flavor you want, you also know that. So bashoes is still, at the present moment, is still really on the Cape Flats. It is something that is there.
What was your favorite flavor?
Pina colada.
Okay. Well, if you're sitting at home and you also love bashoes from your childhood, or maybe you're a new lover of bashoes, we're running a great bashoes competition. And the cool drinks from bashoes have been around for more than 120 years and still going strong. So to win your very own case, all you need to do is simply SMS the word bashoes to 33090. Again, SMS the word bashoes to 33090 to win a case of either pineapple, raspberry, ginger beer, iron brew, cola, and cream soda bashoes. Mr. Weitz, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have the Football Association here. Which mediums can the general public get involved or get in touch with the Federation?
Thanks very much. We just gone in January digitally as Safa Cape Town. So it will be www.safacapetown.com. We're on all the platforms, Facebook, Instagram. We've got our Facebook page at Safa Cape Town and Instagram as well. And so we share on many platforms we have a staff member, a marketing department. They would immediately, once you drop something and there's something that parents want to know, or anybody around Safa Cape Town, around the coaching or just competitions or any general question, how I can get involved and how I can become an official or even a match official. You drop it into our website, you will immediately get a response, and someone will really follow it through and then make sure that you are administered to wherever it needs to be.
Okay, thank you very much. We wish you all the best with your administration and also with the strength or, well, the growth of your sport.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Paul.
So don't go anywhere, because after the break, as promised, the Racing Pigeon Federation will be joining us.